Alright, what's going on, guys? So, since I woke up on Saturday morning, that's yesterday morning, I've not slept, and the reason why I couldn't sleep is because I'm very sad about Anthony Joshua's loss. So, since he lost that match this morning, you know, I've been very scared of sleeping. Like, I know I'm going to have nightmares about about his loss when I sleep. So, I don't know, but anyway, I have to sleep tonight because I have to work tomorrow, you know. So this was a very painful fight to watch, and I expected Joshua to win the fight, like many people, because he's a really good fighter. But I mean, this is boxing. When you box, you don't know what happens, especially in the heavyweight division where everybody is really powerful. They all carry a lot of power, and one punch can change the whole game. So I just want to address a few things regarding Joshua's performance. I mean, his opponent Andy Ruiz is a good fighter, and he did very well in the fight. So I mean, big ups to Andy Ruiz, and yeah, let's look at how Joshua performed in that fight. So the first thing I want to address is the fact that some people say, "Oh, AJ didn't fight well, or he lost that fight because he overlooked the opponent." He was like looking at the guy like a small boy, like I can beat this one, so that's why he lost that fight. But actually, I don't agree with that reason. AJ really trained very hard for this fight. He worked really hard to for his debut in the USA. This was his first time fighting in the USA, and he wanted to pass a message clearly. And yeah, he he trained very hard for the fight. Unfortunately, it didn't go his way. So the reason why I think he lost is very, very simple. He took very clean punches, very, very, flush punches to his temple and to his head, from Andy Ruiz, who on his own weighs 120 kilograms. So when a 120-kilogram person punches you, of course, you feel it. And Joshua is not a machine. So this is why it went down. If Andy Ruiz himself had taken such punches from Joshua, he would have also gone down. That's heavyweight boxing. But there's some things I also noticed about Joshua leading up to the fight. First of all, was during the ring walk. Joshua was looking so tense, and I mentioned this on my WhatsApp status to people who have my phone number. He was looking extremely tense, and he was like looking very scared. There was a lot of pressure on his shoulders. He has only had about 23 fights, and he has been boxing only for the past 5 years, and already he has 4 belts: the IBF, the WBA, WBO, and the IBO belts. So he has 4 belts. He's a unified heavyweight champion with only 23 fights and 5 years. Most people that do this thing, they have 10 years in the sport before they can achieve such things. So I mean, he had done a lot in a short time, and he's like the pride of Britain. He's the pride of the United Kingdom. Everybody wants to watch him. They sing songs about him, and they travel wherever he travels to. So now he came to the USA. They all bought tickets and they came down there to watch him. So the whole world was watching him. The Americans, the British people, his African brothers, the Nigerian brothers, everybody was watching him. And this was like the very big stage, fighting at the Madison Square Garden, the mecca of boxing as it's known. And yeah, this was a lot of pressure on the young man, and it's understandable that some people buckle under this kind of pressure. Andy Ruiz, on the other hand, he had nothing to lose. He was an underdog. He just was, and it was a late replacement opponent. So he just came there to fight. He didn't. If he lost the fight, nobody would say anything. People would be like, "Oh yeah, well, he should have lost anyway. We knew he was going to lose." So he just came there to give it his all. So Joshua was very, very tense. I could see that when he was walking out. I could also see it in the fact that the music that was played when he was walking into the ring, this music was different from what he normally played. And yesterday, or a day before the fight, Joshua asked the fans at the weigh-in, he asked the fans, what song would you like to hear? And they mentioned the song they would like to hear, which is the song he normally plays in all his ring walks. But on the fight night, he didn't play that song. For me, that was like a sign, like, this guy is tense. Why did he change the music? Maybe he's trying to play something that will calm him down, and not something that the fans want to hear. So I was also very, very suspicious at that point. So when he came into the ring and the fight started, in the first round, I thought Joshua did well. He was popping the jab, establishing the range, preventing Ruiz from coming in. He was using his footwork to move laterally, get out the punches from Ruiz, and he did well. In the second round also, I think he did really well also. He popped the jab. He did what he was supposed to do. kept his distance, used his height and his reach advantage to prevent Ruiz from coming in close. And then in the third round, you could see it, and you could see Joshua's skill in the third round. All of a sudden, while he was trading with Ruiz, he caught Ruiz with a very quick uppercut and then a left hook, and you saw Ruiz on the floor, just to show you AJ's power. But then that was where his mistakes and his problems started. You see, AJ was really anxious in this fight. It didn't seem like he wanted to be in that ring. He was so worried and so tense, carrying this pressure on his shoulders. And it was like, in my opinion, he felt like, okay, now this guy's on the floor. If he gets up, let me finish him. Let me destroy him and let him go. But what he didn't realize was that he had not hurt the guy sufficiently. I mean, when you hurt somebody sufficiently, like Joshua hurt Povetkin in his last fight, where the person cannot even stand up anymore by themselves, then you can go and rush in to knock them out. But you hit this guy with an uppercut and a left punch. He went down, yes, but it wasn't that hurt. And so what did AJ do? AJ went in there rushing and trading punches, left, right, left, right. But one thing we know about Andy Ruiz, one thing we know about him is that he is very, very fast. He has very fast hands. And if you have somebody who has very fast hands and who is a very sharp counter puncher, it's very difficult for you to try to, trade punches with them carelessly. And that's what AJ did. He traded very carelessly. And Ruiz calmed down, used his fast hands to catch AJ. He caught him on the temple. AJ's legs wobbled. Then he caught him again and AJ went on the floor. You see, in boxing, when you hit people on the head, your legs are going to shake. You see, when you want to know a fighter is in trouble, a boxer is in trouble, look at their legs. The legs are the first thing to go when a fighter is in trouble. Your legs are the first thing to go before any other part of your body goes. Your legs are the first thing to go. So when you hit you in the head and it is a flush punch, you begin to dance with your legs. They call it the skanky dance or spaghetti legs and stuff like that. You see, so AJ's legs were wobbly and then he went down. And you see, Ruiz has very, very fast hands. And another problem AJ had was when he went down and he got back up, AJ did not do a good job at clinching. You see, when somebody hurts you like that, the next thing you want to do when you get back up is to hug them. Clinch tightly to reduce his momentum, destroy his momentum, so he wouldn't be able to hit you that much again. And you see Tyson Fury, he did this very, very well against Deontay Wilder when he fought in December last year. But you see, Anthony Joshua did not do that at all. He just got up. He did a very lazy clinch. Ruiz pushed him away, punched him, and he fell down again. And then he was in trouble. If not at the round was about to end, Ruiz could have got him out of there easily. When he went back to sit down at the corner at the end of round 3, he didn't even know where he was. He was asking his coach, what should I do? What punch should I throw? This is the heavyweight champion of the world, very skilled. He has beaten Klitschko, beaten Povetkin, beaten Parker, beaten all these top boxers. But then he was asking his coach, what should I do? Because he was dazed. He was still dazed from the punches, And yeah, so he got back in the 4th round. He used the 4th round to recover himself. And he did well to stay away from the punches. And this was a very good sign for me because, even when you are dazed, you were still able to stay away from the punches, and even still pop your jab, even though the jab wasn't that good anymore because he was tired. So by the 5th round also, he had not fully recovered. He was obviously fatigued. The punches and the from Ruiz, they got him very, very tired, and this is actually something that's also surprising to me because you're coming to fight 12 rounds as a heavyweight champion of the world. Your conditioning must be top notch. You shouldn't be getting tired that easily. Something is wrong. Maybe it's the fact that AJ has so much muscle, that gets him very, very fatigued very, very quickly. So people don't really notice this because in many of his fights, he's not under this kind of pressure. I mean, somebody coming forward all the time, just charging at him, hitting him there, here and there, making him gas out. So, yeah, I think the muscles, he needs to tone down on those muscles a bit because they take too much oxygen and they take away energy from him. So, but anyway, in the 4th and 5th round, and even the 6th round, he struggled to come back up. His jabs were not that sharp, but he tried to stay away from the punches. But I was worried, I think, in the 6th round when Ruiz caught him with 1 or 2 punches. And what did AJ do? AJ put his hands down, say, hey, come and hit me. This is a sign of somebody that is getting, temporarily punch drunk. The punches are hitting him and he's dazed and he's like, okay, come. He doesn't even know what he's doing, So in the 7th round, which was the round where the knockout came, what happened? You saw Joshua. He made the same mistake that he made in the 3rd round. He drew himself too close to Ruiz to punch. He was trying to trade with Ruiz inside. You cannot trade with Ruiz inside. If you're going to trade Ruiz inside, you need to have your guard really up, and you need to be able to roll with the punches like Floyd Mayweather was doing against Marcos Maidana. And you don't just stay there with your chin hanging up in the air. You get tagged, and you see what happened. He threw his jab, and Ruiz countered that and landed the punch on him. You saw that, and that was the end. He started throwing his barrage of punches. Joshua fell down two more times. When he got back up, he went to the corner. When he got to the corner, he was obviously on weak legs. He was obviously on shaky legs, and he was looking like a zombie. The referee asked him, "Are you okay? You want to continue?" And he was looking at the referee, couldn't say anything. And he said, "Yes, yes." After some time, yes. Then the referee said, "Okay, put your hands up." He couldn't put his hands up. He had to hold the ropes. And then the referee said, "Okay, you know what? Walk towards me. Let me see that you can still walk." And AJ couldn't walk. He couldn't move. I mean, he was gone. And the referee made the right decision by stopping that fight. I wish, AJ would have won that fight. I wish he would have rallied, and come back with something. I thought he was doing well with, even in spite of the fact that he was dazed. And I thought if he had continued just popping the jab within another 1 or 2 rounds, maybe by round 8, he would have recovered fully, and then he would take this guy out of there. But that didn't happen. So this was a very sad loss, and it's something that made me feel really bad. I've not slept since, and I've not slept since Saturday morning when I woke up, because I just know I'm going to have nightmares thinking about this fight. I think it's an important lesson to learn here. AJ did not underestimate this guy, but it's an important lesson to learn that, stick to your style, keep on popping your jab. Don't think about the early knockout. Even if you win on points, nobody's going to care. Yeah, people are going to say, "Oh, you didn't knock this guy out," but I mean, you win on points, it's still a victory for you. But AJ was trying to get the knockout to impress his fans in round 3. He was trying to get the knockout to impress his fans, as well as to just get out of the ring because of his anxiety. But this didn't work out for him against a man with very, very fast hands and a man with nothing to lose. People without anything to lose are always the most dangerous people. And so, yeah, the man fell, and there's going to be a rematch possibly towards the end of this year. I think AJ is the better fighter, but he made mistakes on that night. But Ruiz is also very, very dangerous and cannot be underestimated. For the rematch, I expect AJ and his team to go back to the drawing board. They need to work with him on fighting on the inside. Because at some point Ruiz will come on the inside. What happens when you are on the inside? You cannot keep your chin hanging up in the air. Teach this boy how to use uppercuts, how to use his shoulders to block the punches and things like that on the inside. And then for coming up for the next fight, he needs to be really, really conditioned. His conditioning was really bad here. Just by the 3rd round, he was already gassing. And I think he has to lose some weight. I think he has to do more with the cardio. And for me also, I've been saying to people that I think he has to change his trainer. His trainer is a really good trainer, but I think AJ has learned everything that he can learn from the trainer, Rob McCracken. He has exhausted everything he can, from the man, and he needs to move on to a new trainer. So you see, the thing is that if you watch AJ, his head is very, very stiff. He doesn't move his head that much, and he doesn't move by the waist. Look at Tyson Fury, for example, moving by the waist, moving his head and all. Joshua doesn't really move his head. He's more of a stationary fighter, and that's how his trainer has been teaching him. So I think at this point he needs a new trainer like Adam Booth, somebody who can teach him head movements and stuff like that. And if he incorporates this into his game, I think he can come back and beat Ruiz and get back his belt. But this just shows us that anybody's beatable. It's boxing. Whenever you engage in a sport where you have to hit somebody in the head and they have to hit you, any punch can change the game. Especially as a heavyweight with all that body mass you're carrying and all that power. It's only natural that these kind of things happen. So I guess AJ is going to pick himself back up. Hopefully he's going to become a champion again. I really want him to become a champion again. But yeah, this was Andy Ruiz's night, and Ruiz did the better work. Ruiz did the much more convincing work. And yeah, hopefully AJ will go back home and come back stronger. Thank you guys for tuning in, and have a nice day.